we got writing?
Well, actually, we had written started writing with him even before he joined the band.
Beautiful Loser.
Yeah, because I asked, I just sort of said, well, it was part of this time. It's just sort of trying to, sometimes with writing, you've just got to take whatever the universe offers you. You need to just sort of grab it if it's there. And at that point, I feel that I needed some sort of extra inspiration. Alex had been touring with us some of the second half of the Heavy Music tour because Neil was ill, and obviously I developed a rapport with Alex, and I started talking about writing, and we exchanged a few ideas, and he sent me the demo of the music to what became Beautiful Loser, and I just kind of wrote to that because I liked it, and so there was a sort of a writing dialogue going on with Alex before he actually joined the band. Yeah.
Well, the general tone of the album, to me at least, is far lighter. It's not as somber feeling as any of the preceding four. Was that was that your doing, or did Stephen Street bring some of that as well?
No, I think that was definitely our doing. If you listen to the demos from that period, which is just the band unproduced, as it were, they're even lighter. And I wanted a very sort of like light, sort of bucolic almost feel to the record. I didn't want it to be sort of paranoid and urban. I wanted it to be, sort of like almost pastoral in a way, quite sort of like acoustic, quite sort of beautiful, but sort of not tragic and not too romantic, quite light in places.
Does that inform a sort of a bit of a Beatles influence you can hear on it?
Yeah, Beatles and that,
in the backing vocals that.
Exactly, there's a sort of Beach Boys sort of feel to some of those BVs, Lost in TV and stuff like that.
That was a new element we wanted to work. We did lots of writing for A New Morning actually in this room, and I remember the three of us sitting around working on complicated backing vocal parts, which is a new thing for Suede, evolving the writing.
But we were very conscious of where is this going to go, how are we going to take this to the next level, how are we going to evolve musically. That was that's always been a thing with Suede. The last thing we've ever wanted to do is make a record that sounds like the previous one.
And were you getting worried that the album was taking too long?
Yeah, I mean there's a point where it's what's going on here. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
And do you think that informed the fact that why Positivity as an opening single wasn't that well received by the fans?
No, I think Positivity wasn't well received by the fans because of the title of the song, almost predominantly. More than anything. Okay, it's not. The music doesn't sound like Animal Nitrate, whatever. But straight away, it's kind of it's saying something that I don't think Suede fans really wanted to hear. The message is a sort of non-Suede message.
And do you think that's, ultimately the album didn't sell as well as its predecessors. Do you think that was part of the same thing? Yeah,
we definitely had this sort of almost sort of strange, twisted desire to kind of like alienate our fan base.
And do you think they've moved on in the interim?
We wanted to alienate them, and we made a record that they didn't
enabled them to be alienated.
And we made a record that they didn't particularly like, so they didn't buy it. It's as simple as that. But the fact is, it's not as good a record as the other Suede albums, as far as I'm concerned. But that doesn't mean I'm disowning the music. It just means that I'm disowning our choices that we made at the time. If you look at things like Simon, Cheap, Oceans, if they'd have been on the record properly instead of whatever ended up on the record, but within that recording process there were some great songs. And again, it's more of a regret of the decisions we made at the time rather than the songs that we were recording.
Why did you make Oceans a hidden track when you were so keen on it?
I don't know. It's just stupid, isn't it? And I love that song, and I even loved it at the time, but it's just, I don't know why. We sort of got into this sort of like mindset of kind of like what we wanted the record to be, and Oceans didn't quite fit in with that, but we knew it was a good song, so we just thought, well, let's chuck in it as an extra track.
Do you think a lot of people actually missed it, even though there's a 10-minute
Probably.
gap?
Yeah, it was another stupid thing. I don't know why. I don't really know why we did it. It wasn't a very clever thing to do.
What would you do differently now with this album? Do you think? Would you make it more in the style of Obsessions than?
Difficult to say. Like I said, I'd include certain songs, and exclude others. I mean, the plan was to make a kind of a light acoustic bucolic record, and there are moments that kind of are successful, that achieve that quite nicely. So what would I do differently? Yeah, you know, include some songs that weren't included, I suppose.
Some of the B-sides.
Yeah. But you know, what would you do differently? Like, what, you know, you could go to the furthest extreme and say, "We'll make a completely different record." Do you know what I mean? But
you'd already
what
done
would
that
I do
twice anyway.
Yeah, exactly. What would I do to that record that exists and that collection of songs? Well, just some different decisions made in, you know, when it comes to B-sides and album tracks. That's what I do differently. But that's your recording, and I think that lots of the recordings are beautiful. You know, proud of them. Lost in TV. I love the recording of that. I think it's wonderful.
That was one of Matt's few writing credits. How did that come
about?
That was actually a demo that he, because back in sort of '95 when we started writing for Coming Up, I was the only one who had anything other than like a 4-track at home. I had an 8-track, and so Matt would come over. Yeah, exactly. Double the fun. And Matt would come over to mine and record. He did like 2 or 3 bits of music, because Europe is our playground. He'd done, and he came over to mine and recorded this piece called Anything, which was in probably about September '95, and then in about June 2000, Brett said, "I've written something to it." So, you know, it took the best part of 5 years, and it got kind of chopped about quite a lot, but that became Lost in TV, and it's, yeah, for me, it's one of the best tracks on the record.
There's particularly that one too.
Yeah, yeah.